What up, party people? I am Matt Lehman, the owner of Spatula City Records, and this is Controversial Album Covers. This is episode number 18. So today we are going to talk about Alice Cooper's Love It to Death. This is their third album, and it was released on March 9th, 1971. This is by far, to date, their most successful album commercially of the three albums, the first three. And that is mostly because of the track I Am 18. That's the one that kind of catapulted them to fame and fortune. And part of that is because it was much heavier and harder rock as opposed to their first two albums, which were more psychedelic or experimental. They had guitars that went all over the place, and they were just doing weird stuff that just couldn't find their audience. And Bob Ezrin is mostly credited for helping them find themselves. And as the story goes, Shep Gordon was the band manager for Alice Cooper, and he knew that they had something. He knew that they could be something amazing, but they just needed a good direction. They needed someone to help them. They needed a good producer. So he went to Jack Richardson, and Jack Richardson had just come off of Guess Who's album, and Guess Who had become highly successful, and he really thought that that was the sound that Alice Cooper needed, and they certainly needed a producer like Jack. And Jack looked at the pictures, he listened to their first two albums, he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. These guys have nothing going for them. But Shep was just kept going on him, and finally took a meeting with him and finally said, look, here's the deal. I'm not going to go, but I'll send a kid to go to the concert, and if he likes them, then I'll produce their album. And Jack's like, that's great, that's all I wanted. I know that it's going to be successful. I know you're going to love it. And as soon as Jack left the room, Shep told Bob, he's like, kill him. I'm not interested in him. When you go and see him, but it doesn't matter. I'm not doing him. Just tell him they sucked. Well, Bob went to the concert and was floored by them because they had a stage presence. They were doing the props. They had a lot of stuff going on, kind of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So he came back to Jack and was like, hey man, you really got to work with these guys. They are phenomenal. They are they've got something. They really are the next big thing. They really got to do it. And Jack's like, no. He's like, fine. If you're so into them, you produce them. And Bob was like taken back by it because Bob was 19 at this point. He had never produced an album, let alone worked with a band. So he thought about it and he realized, he's like, you know what? This is probably the best opportunity that anybody is ever going to give me. And he ran with it, and he tightened them up, and he gets a lot of credit for tightening them up and kind of pushing him in that hard rock and getting him away from the ethereal psych rock that he was doing. And of course, it blew up and became successful. Now, Frank Zappa actually signed Alice Cooper at first for the first two albums, and he's quoted as saying, I signed them because I'd never seen a band clear a room as fast as they did. So it was released, and I'm 18 was released before the album, and it really pushed them, and then Warner Brothers picked them up. But the reason that this album is banned, or not banned, but controversial, and it has changed over the years, is because if you look very, very closely, this is a schoolyard or middle school prank. If you look at Alice Cooper right here, he has his thumb through his pants with his cape tucked around it. And if you look closely, it resembles a penis. Here we go again, penises. I had to look at this a couple times when I first saw this years ago because his thumb is really gnarly. And you're looking at it, you're like, God, if that's his penis, he needs to give it a rest and take it on vacation and give it some time off. But it's his thumb. And what I didn't, in researching this, I never noticed this or never knew this. They first, originally what they did is they covered it with two white bands, kind of like the Mamas and Papas, If You Believe Your Eyes and Ears, where they black band around it. I've never seen that. I didn't even know that existed. And it was only out for a couple months before they reissued it with the airbrushed out. This is airbrushed out, so it just is the same picture, but there's no thumb. This is also the first album where Alice Cooper reveals, or where you see his spider eyes, which is obviously iconic. It's what Alice Cooper's known for. If you see him, that's what it is. So the photo was done by Roger Pigent. I think that's how you pronounce it, Pigent. He was most notably a French fashion photographer, and he did some albums, but mostly it was like pop and vocal album covers, like Barbra Streisand's got a couple, or one or two, I think. Nancy Wilson, Bobby Humphries, stuff like that. So he also did a couple other Alice Cooper albums, including School's Out, but I don't think he did the desk cover. He did some of the photos inside. But that's it, Alice Cooper. And as usual, par for the course, this controversy was put in the news or was leaked out, and people wanted to see it. So I think it probably helped sell records. So if you're a band out there and you're trying to sell records, if you could do something stupid and controversial, although now you're really gonna have to do something more than this, because this is child's play. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Spatula City Records, as always, buy 9, get 1 free. We ultrasonically clean all of our records, and free shipping on orders of $50 or more. Thanks for watching. Please like and share for more videos.